Hello and welcome back. You're going to be coming with me today as I hit a back and bicep session in my home gym. The pump was insane. It was such a good workout. So let's go ahead and get into it. You already know we got to hit the pre-workout warm up first. I'm always going to grab my band before I do anything else, but apparently not because I had to hit a quick fit check wearing the Cosmic Seamless TLF shorts and the Tempo Tank bra. I love this fit. You know the vibes. Good workout fit, good workout. It's science. Anyway, back to work. We were doing some band pass-throughs, just going back and forth, and then I hit some band pull-aparts. Here I'm doing a standing band row. These are all absolute staples in my upper body warm-up routine. I do 10 to 12 reps, and usually I do all of these for 2 rounds. I'll run through this twice. Here I'm doing a band bicep curl, getting the biceps ready, and then just an overhead press to get the shoulders warmed up before we start our pulling movements and some upright rows here. Okay, let's get to work. The first exercise we're hitting post back day warm up is a wide grip pull down. I start on the lighter side for my first set. I always start at a weight that's very manageable just to make sure that my form feels good, that I know that I'm warmed up enough before I get into my heavier sets. As you can see here, I just increased the weight for the second set. Here, I'm starting to work a little bit harder. The reps are looking a little bit tougher. That's how we want it to look as we increase our weight. I did 4 total sets here of 12, 10, 10, and 8, increasing the weight with each set. Now I know I'm super warmed up. I'm ready to attack the rest of my workout. I'm hitting a close grip pull down next. I did 3 sets here of 12, 10, and 10. And by that second set, I was increasing the weight a little bit. I'm really focusing on pulling right toward my chest, keeping those elbows in. One thing about me, my biceps will take over in a back workout whenever possible. So I have to really think about leading with the elbows as I'm pulling down here so that I make sure I'm using my lats and my biceps aren't doing the work. I want to make sure the proper muscles are doing what they're supposed to be. It's all about that mind-muscle connection. So as I'm pulling down, I'm thinking lead with the elbows so that my biceps aren't taking over here. This was a pretty pull down heavy workout, I'm not going to lie. I really wanted to focus on my lats today over my middle back, but I did obviously want to include a row here. So I added a seated cable row just to hit some of that middle back. And as you can see, as I'm pulling in, I'm adding a pause at that peak contraction. And that makes all the difference for me. I love just holding there for a second, really feeling that squeeze. I think a seated cable row is one of my favorite exercises. It never does me wrong. I just love the squeeze so much. I'm just showing it from another angle here. You can really see me hitting that pause at the peak contraction, and then I'm hinging forward just a little bit to get that full stretch before I get that full squeeze. I did 3 sets of 12 reps here, adding in those pauses for every single rep. And on the last rep, it was a little bit longer. I would hold it for like 5 seconds. Okay, this is another one of my favorites. We're getting some unilateral work in here. I'm just sitting on the floor. I grab both handles and I pull both down at the same time, and then I start to alternate. I get that big stretch at the top and then that big squeeze at the bottom. I do 10 alternating reps, and then when we're done alternating, I go ahead and hit 5 reps with both together. So I hit those alternating reps first, and then I finish off with 5 reps going both at the same time. I'm really focusing on not rushing through these reps, taking it nice and slow. And then when I get to that last rep, that 5th rep, I'm going to go ahead and just hold that squeeze at the bottom for just an extra second. I love unilateral exercises for back. I always incorporate at least one. They're really great if you have a muscle imbalance, which most of us naturally do. If we have old injuries or things like that, our posture can play a role. It's just good to hit one side at a time and just focus on one side doing the work while the other side is in that fixed position. This is just such a good exercise. I love it. I did it twice. I only did 2 sets of this with that alternating for 10 reps and then 5 reps together. And then same thing as the first set on that last rep, that 5th rep, as I pull down, I'm just going to hold it there for a tiny little extra second. Crushed it. Okay. This is our final back exercise. I'm finishing it off with a cable pullover using the rope attachment. This is another one that's really tried and true for me. I just love it. I tend to add it into a lot of my back days. I love that big stretch and then that pulling motion where you're kind of almost scooping your arms down. I just feel like it targets the lats in a unique way. I did 3 sets of 12 reps, and now we're going to move on to the biceps finisher, baby. Okay, hear me out. I'm pretty much only doing one exercise for the biceps per week these days in my back workouts. And when you train back, you're naturally hitting some biceps, even if you do everything perfectly. They are going to be stimulated, but I still want to make sure that I'm adding in one curling movement. I'm just not really focused on growing my biceps right now, to be honest, but I still like doing curls and I like variations of curls. And so I'm going to show you what I did in this workout. It's pretty much this exercise or a preacher curl. And then of course, I love the fruits of my labor when it comes to a bicep curl. I love to flex them. I'm just not keen on really training them super heavy right now. Okay, now that I got my little disclaimer out the way, I'm going to show you what I did to end this workout. This one gets me every time. It never fails. I'm just doing some alternating static hold curls here. For reference, I'm holding 15-pound dumbbells. You don't have to go super heavy. So we're just holding one bicep up in the fixed position while the opposite hand arm, whatever, does the curl. So I'm alternating those static holds. I'm doing 20 total reps. And again, I did this twice, and that was more than enough, honestly. You can see I'm showing you the entire set here because I want you to see how fatigued I'm getting toward the end. This was my second set. So by like rep number 12, I was ready to bag it, but we got to see it through. So 20 total reps, which means 10 per side. This makes my biceps feel like they are going to explode every time. It never fails. Such a good exercise. I love these. And that is all she wrote. The endorphins were flowing. We were vibing to the music. Let me know if you guys try this workout. Take it to the gym with you. Give it a go. Bye.